Hey everyone, and welcome to r/AmITheA. Now, I have a suspicion with these once-a-week recordings, I'm going to be visiting this sub pretty damn frequently. It has definitely been one of my favourites recently, and I will do my best to find stories that hopefully none of you have ever heard before. Another couple that I've liked are r/Confessions and r/Let's Not Meet, so I think I will be covering those pretty frequently as well. But also do make sure to tell me your favourites down in the comments below. I will make sure to go through them, and if there are any overwhelmingly popular ones, then I'll make sure to include them in future videos. But with that said, let's not waste another second and get straight into this first one by user/ashamed project. Am I the butthole for never telling my wife that my parents were cousins? My 26 male parents have been happily married for 30 years. Neither of them had known they were cousins and found out 2 years into their relationship. Their mothers, who were sisters, had lost contact with each other after each of them ran away at different times from their strict, super religious household. The day they met, it was almost in an instant that both of them knew they were each other's siblings. That day was filled with a lot of chaos and ended up with a breakup of my parents. However, 5 months into the breakup, they both realised they couldn't do it and they got back together. My mother's mom supported them, whereas my father's parents didn't and disowned my father. A year after that, my parents got married and had my sister and I. Just a month ago, my father had passed away from heart complications. It hit my mother really hard and she was absolutely broken. This week, we had a tiny funeral for him, only 10 people, and everything was going smooth, until his mother showed up. My aunt had brought her along. This created a huge shouting match with my mother, aunt, and grandmother. In this, they disclosed the fact that my parents were cousins. My wife looked at me in shock and asked if that was true. I told her yeah, and she said to wait for a conversation about this when we got home. Well, we got home, and she just started crying, saying that it was disgusting, that I was a product of incest, and how I couldn't have told her and why I didn't trust her. I truly don't believe that my parents' relationship defines me as a person. I've tried to ignore that fact for my whole life, and it was a really uncomfortable topic. I told her that I had the right to keep it to myself, but she just screamed that I didn't, and that what if we had a child and it could have complications because of me? Although the chances of that are extremely low. I still stood my ground that I was right, but my wife just continued to cry as she told me that we were going to take a break. I'm heartbroken because I didn't think that part of me defined me, and to know she was taking a break from me because of that reason really hurt. I talked to my sister about this, and she said that I was a butthole and should have told my wife, as she told her husband. She said it's not something that I should have hidden because it was a deal breaker for many. I'm really tired of having my parents' relationship define me as a person, and I don't think I'm the butthole for not telling my wife. I haven't had any contact with my wife, but I know that if she were to forgive me, I'd have to apologise. And even though it may sound so petty that I'm putting our relationship on the line, I don't think I need to give an apology. I'd like another view of this because my mind's racing. Also, throw away because my wife knows my Reddit. Now, before we judge OP too harshly on this one, I do want to say that from this post, it does sound like OP was judged quite harshly for his parents' decision. A decision that he could not control and had absolutely no impact over. At the same time, OP, I am going to say you're the butthole. It is quite a significant thing for many. And it's not like you're publicly announcing this on the street. This is something you're telling your wife, the person who is closest to you, and really should know about the significant things in your life. This is something that could potentially affect the health of your kids. But apart from that, OP, it's information that clearly is very important. You shouldn't have concealed it, hence I say you're the butthole. And with that said, let's move on to the next one by user/a vegan's mum. My daughter, 16 female, has been vegan for about a year. Me, my husband, and her brother, 14 male, have tried to be as supportive as possible. We aren't a family that eats meats daily, so it wasn't that hard for me to accommodate her. When I do cook meat, I also make something else for her and keep the side dishes common for all. She does have some separate dishes, but most are common, and I clean it if I have to cook for her. A few months into the vegan lifestyle, she tried to convince us to go vegan and would get increasingly angry when we said no. My husband and I shut down that behaviour hard and told her that she can follow whatever diet she wanted, but she cannot expect others to. She sulked for a while, but stopped doing that. Last weekend, I cooked the family a big pot of chili, a small vegan one and a large beef one, so that I can refrigerate it and use it for the next week. The next day, I found the fridge empty of the chili, and turns out my daughter decided that we were being too callous about meat. She felt the smell was too much when she opened the fridge door, and that she can't get anything from the fridge after that without gagging or puking. She told me that I need to throw out all the vegan food in the fridge and restock them. My husband and I were livid. Wasting food is never okay with us, and that was a lot of food. I told her I'm going to continue using the vegan products in the fridge, and she can either eat it or not. But I'm not wasting food. The whole week, she kept making faces at dinner while she ate. As a punishment, I gave her the recipe and told her she needs to buy and cook it next weekend. She yelled and begged, but I stood firm. In the end, she did. When the cooking was finished, I told her that wasting food is never okay in this house, and pointed out that instead of X amount of meat being used, 2X amount of meat was being used. And Opie does clarify that this means the stuff that her daughter threw out, plus the stuff she had to cook with. Now she started crying and yelling at me about how awful and disgusting I was because I not only forced her to buy meat, which she is very much against. I also forced her to cook it, and now I'm also telling her that it was her fault. She is really upset about this, so I'm wondering if I went too far. Should I have picked a different punishment? My husband and brother definitely think what I did was right, while my parents think I was in the wrong. I thought I'll put it to a vote. Am I the butthole? Yeah, OP, I'm going to give you not the butthole on this one. Once again, as I start many of my discussions with, let's not forget OP's daughter is 16. Which, I mean, is definitely for a start an age in which you should sort of understand these things, but also let's not judge her too harshly. With that said, she did throw out a few days worth of perfectly good food. And OP, you didn't just yell at her, scream at her. I think you taught her a valuable lesson. Actually, a couple of very valuable lessons. First of all, you showed her that her actions have consequences. If she does something or goes against explicit rules like not wasting food in your house, there will be consequences. Very, very important. Second of all, you showed her that her actions were just purely wasteful. By throwing out the food, she actually wasted more meat and furthered the problem she was trying to solve. And I think that is a very, very valid and very, very important point to make. So, long story short, I'm not going to go into veganism and if it's right or wrong. I believe everyone's free to have their own opinion on this. But purely from the situational standpoint, I say not the butthole OP. And here's the next one by user/significantonion647. 4 weeks ago, the sale of my company was finalised, and I was starting to get money in hand for the sale. Nothing huge, but life-changing for my husband and I for sure. I wanted to invite my brother's family out to dinner at a fancy restaurant next week, since indoor dining is now available. Between my husband and I, his parents and his brother, I'm looking at a $1,500 dinner bill to give you an idea. One person is missing, however, and that's my husband's sister. I did invite her because of her autistic son. I know he doesn't typically do well in gatherings like this, especially with food involved, as he's specific about his food. My sister-in-law and him are attached at the hips, so it's hard to invite her out to do any activity without her son tagging along. I don't even want to give him a chance, and instead just flat out didn't invite them. This is a very important meal for me because my husband's parents have paid for nice dinners for me before, and this is my way of showing I can repay the favour. I want it to be perfect, and unfortunately this means I don't want sister-in-law's autistic son making a ruckus or scene as he normally would. My husband and his parents have fallen back on, it's your dinner plans, we don't tell you who to invite, but obviously his sister is livid. Am I the butthole? Well, you see, OP, you're the butthole. I don't think it really even needs explaining. I hope everyone understands, and if not, the comments down below have plenty of good explanations. The one thing that I don't understand is why all this hassle? Why can't this be made any easier? Why can't you invite your sister if you think that maybe she won't come? Just give her the invitation, it's nice, or why not make this an adult-only dinner? I mean, surely your sister-in-law can leave her son with someone else for a night. I mean, I guess it can be difficult, but purposefully not inviting your sister-in-law because you think she's going to bring her son and you think her son's going to make a scene, come on, that is a butthole move. I won't dwell on that one too much. I think there are just way too many easy solutions that OP has chosen to ignore, so let's move on to this next one by /throw once upon a time. This happened several years ago. I was a 20 female and in college. I was living with my two best friends. One of them was moving out so that she could move in with her boyfriend. I placed an ad looking for another roommate. That's how I met Erin. Before she moved in, she informed me that she was vegetarian, but she wouldn't have problems if other roommates weren't. She moved into our apartment a month later. The next day after she moved in, she cooked breakfast for us. I was surprised. We didn't ask her to, and by her own words, she wanted to do something nice. She made pancakes, bacon strips, and hash browns. I am definitely allergic to a few things. So immediately, I asked her what was in the food. But I didn't mention my allergies. Huge mistake. She listed the ingredients, and I didn't find anything I was allergic to. Edit, she told me it was regular bacon, not that it was fake bacon or that it had soy. I start eating, and everything tastes a little off. I try the bacon, and definitely something is wrong. At this point, she does a ta-da and smugly told us, I bet it tastes exactly like meat. I am freaking out now. I told her I'm severely allergic to soy and asked her whether there was any soy. Now she's apologizing and says she didn't know and that she's sorry she lied and blah blah. I'm experiencing anaphylactic shock, throat closing up, dizzy, the works. My best friend freaks out and calls an ambulance. I had to stay in the hospital for 2 days. With US healthcare, the ambulance, and my hospital stay, I racked up a lot of money. Money that I didn't have. In the meantime, I also filed a complaint with the police. Food tampering is a felony. I had a lucky break. My best friend had filmed the breakfast to post it on Instagram, and she got the whole thing in video. In the end, Erin had to plead guilty to some low degree of felony. She didn't get any jail time, but got community service. Once she was found guilty, I sued her for the hospital fees. I won that one too. I did all the legal things under the advice of my uncle's friend who's a lawyer. He said something about how it'll be easy to sue if she has a guilty charge. I also did not have any contact with Erin during any of this under the advice of my lawyer. Erin's scholarship was cancelled and she had to drop out. She also went into debt paying medical fees. I saw her on Facebook a few days ago and she's still down on her luck. I guess a felony charge makes it very hard, no matter how small the charge was. I know she's the butthole for lying about food. I want to know whether I'm the butthole for everything I did after. Because the bottom line is, I basically screwed a person's life because they put wrong ingredients on breakfast that they made only to do something nice. Wow, I am genuinely surprised at the comments in this one because Reddit has voted everyone sucks here and quite a few are saying not the butthole to OP. Personally, if we're judging this on the scale, I say, well, I mean, okay, I guess Erin is kind of a little bit of a butthole, but in the grand scheme of things, she was trying to do something nice. She was trying to do something good for OP, and to me, OP is a massive butthole. If you're allergic to something to the point that you might die, like, why don't you mention it? Like, I mean, sure, I get it, you asked her what she put in, but you know, it's not that hard to say, hey, by the way, why I'm asking in so much detail is because I'm allergic to soy and I'll get an anaphylactic reaction and I might die if I eat soy. It's not that hard to put into conversation and avoid things like that, and you've basically screwed someone's life over because of it. I don't know, feel free to disagree with me. This one is just one that, I don't know, I just really disagree with what Reddit has judged on this one, but yeah, make sure to tell me what you think in the comments down below. And here's the next one by user/mandarinfishoranges. This happened before the pandemic, and I've already moved into college. My dad married Jane when I, 18 female, was 14, and my stepsister, Lucy, also 18 female currently, was 15. Lucy and I were born only a couple months apart, but she was born after the school age cutoff, so she's been in my grade. We got along great when we were younger. We talked about going to college together and being roommates. When Jane and Lucy moved in with us, Lucy moved into a much more competitive school district. We both went to a magnet school, and Lucy took a while to adjust to the different teaching style and school culture. I was always helping her out because our parents pushed me to because she was my sister. We both dreamed of going to C University, a highly competitive private university. Background, I'm a swimmer. I was number 1 in the district, number 15 in the state, and hold a few national titles in my swimming events. I was number 12 out of 280 in my graduating class, and had over 100 volunteering hours in high school, and I did really well on my SAT, 1550 plus. Lucy wasn't a bad student, but was only doing well because I was helping her. She was in academic honor societies, had about 75 volunteering hours, and scored 1470 to 1500 on her SAT. We were both very competitive applicants to C University. In senior year, I signed to swim at CU, and my family was really happy for me. Lucy applied to CU, but got waitlisted and then rejected. Then her tune changed. She went around telling everyone that the only reason I got into CU was because I was a good swimmer whenever anyone spoke about college and on social media. I tried just to let it go because she was sad, but once I heard her telling her friends that I was just a dumb bee who wouldn't have made it with that swim. I lost it because in the Ivy League, even to swim there, you have to be smart, and she was discounting my academic merits. Here is why I think I'm the butthole. I essentially told her, in front of her friends, that the only reason she was doing well in school was because I was helping her, and that I should have just let her suffer on her own. I also said that it wasn't my fault, that she was too stupid to get it on her own. My parents heard and were angry with me for bullying my sister. I admit I was being angry, but I just got really mad about the things she was saying about me. Lucy is going to another really good school, one of the best in the US for her major, but still hasn't apologised and has been quite standoffish. And I don't know what to do because she's my sister and I still want to have a relationship with her. Am I the butthole? And give me help on what to do. Well, to be honest, I find that the background doesn't matter too much on this post. I mean, congratulations, OP, on getting into the school. But really, Lucy was just jealous. She shouldn't have said things behind your back, and I mean, I kinda guess she got what she deserved. I say, not the butthole OP. Really, I don't think there is much more to add on this one. And guys, I do think this post is going to be the last one for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for weekly Reddit videos. But with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.